I'm going to make a video today. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I still got a few more hours before I can take off. I'm down here in Gallup, New Mexico, on my reset. But this is the second time I'm making a video because I got 2 minutes and 49 seconds into the last video and my low battery came on. So I hit clear and I didn't realize that it paused the video. So I continued to talk for another 10 minutes before I looked up and saw that the number counter wasn't moving. My video today is, I would like to, the guys that follow me and the group of truck drivers that are out there that watch the videos, I want to try to make a pack. I want to see if this will actually help. I think it will. Most of you know mental health's a big thing. It's a big thing for truck drivers. We're out here, we're alone and everything else. And I think that society, I think technology is good to a point. And the advancements are good to a point. I just think that it's made life so easy, so boring, so predictable that it's not fun anymore. And I think that is what's causing an escalation in everybody's mental health on the depressions. That's part of why I have this guy here. His name's Charlie. Goose is at home, but constantly wants me to hold him. It's like having a baby in here. So, no licking. And it's helped this week. I have noticed a huge difference. I've gotten out and walked. I've jogged for the first time because I was worried about the dog having stiff legs and stuff. That, granted, I felt like my chest was going to open up and then an alien was going to pop out because it hurt so bad. But I felt good. I got one of these watches. They were $45 from Walmart to keep track of my steps. But I also want to keep from having to look at the phone and carrying the phone. That is like one of the biggest pet peeves I have is, like, when I get home, I put my phone on the charger, and a lot of times it doesn't always happen, but I like to forget it. I like to forget that the phone is even there. But the other thing is I've come to the realization that when I started driving, we had to use maps. We didn't have the GPS. We didn't have all the technology. Truck drivers used to barter movies in the truck stop, for a movie to watch that night, because the phones we had were flip phones, and we had these giant TVs that weighed like as much as my tarps do, that they were 50 pounds. They would slide into a cubby hole, and you'd have to seatbelt it down so that it doesn't fall over and crash, because it could liably kill your team driver if they're back there sleeping and it falls off a shelf or something, because it was that heavy. I think that, and I'm not a doctor or anything else like that, but I think that the connection between the technology and us truck drivers, that it goes hand in hand. It's made it just where we just are zombies. There's no life anymore. I have to do this. I used to enjoy it. There's definitely things I could do differently to try to make my time out here better, minus the lot lizards. But the effort that I'm going to put forth is, I went in. I'm just going to roll out technology anymore. Other than a movie on the weekends on my reset, I'm going to try to stay off the phone. I'm going to try to read more. I'm going to try to educate my brain. I'm going to try to work out my brain. I'm going to try to make sure that I do 3,000 steps every day. No matter how tired I am, I need to go out and I need to walk. The body is just like anything else. It's got to be well lubricated. It's got to constantly be moving. If you don't do that, you stiffen up, it rusts up, everything. But I'm going to stop using the GPS. I'm just straight up going to stop using GPS. I'm going to go back to the radio. Luckily my truck's still old enough that I have a CD player, so I think I'm going to try to find some CDs and stuff and put it in there and listen to music and drive and take care of my truck. I went in and, they were a lot smaller back in the day. They were made to go in your pocket with your pen and everything else, whatever, your notepad to write down your load information and everything else, whatever. But I'm assuming it's bigger because more truck stops, I guess. But as you can see, it tells you all the truck stops. And we used to write notes in there, good food. Like, I'm going to start having fun. I've been driving, July will be 20 years. I even went in and got an old map. Well, it's 2025, it's not old, but it's paper. I forgot. I can say, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I honestly forgot what the hell the states looked like. Because it's been so long since I've looked at a map. And it's so much quicker and easier than trying to zoom in and zoom out and everything else. And I can see the scale houses. I don't have to use the trucker path bull crap anymore. For instance, Colorado, has the scales located. You can find your routes. I miss those days. I miss sitting at the restaurant. I don't know if some of you remember whenever Flying J used to have the buffets, the Amish buffets. It was always fried chicken on there. Or even the TA. The TA used to have real good restaurants. Same as Petro before they merged. But I used to sit down. And I used to use a marker and mark out my route and where I was going to be at and stuff, whatever. And I used to go back here in the back and find the city and graph it out and everything else, and even the mileage directory, just to see how much money I was going to get paid. I think when I started driving, it was like 26 or 28 cents a mile. Like, if I busted $800 that week, I thought I was rich. But I'm just not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to follow the technology bullcrap anymore. I'm not going to fall into I'm just not going to let it control my life anymore. It's just not going to happen. So my challenge to you, other truck drivers, is post about it. Get it out there. Let's start making life more enjoyable. Let's start talking to each other more. Start using that CV instead of for negativity and stupid dumbass cat calls on there. You can tell that those guys are new drivers and they're POSs. But my challenge to you guys is see how you feel. You just do it for a week. Just do it for a week. Don't use the GPS except whenever you get close to your location, like within 50 miles, and you need to know where you're going, obviously, and everything else. But sit down and plan your trip out, and you'll actually start feeling better. I know I have. The more I can get away from the technology, the better. And I'm just going to finish out my time using the paper maps and the truck stop books. It's time for us to start taking control of our lives and ourselves and our attitudes, and stop following the line that this has created. So, best wishes for all you guys. Follow me.